So we must notice that in this moment, thoughts are just saying all sorts of things, completely out of control. They always arise, though, as my voice. They always arise, though, like I am speaking. And this is where the stickiness is. This is where um, the danger is with thoughts, because this thinking that is happening completely spontaneously is claiming this, that it's creating this idea that I am doing it. But this can be dissolved upon investigation, upon observing the mind. It can be clearly seen that this flow is completely spontaneous. It is happening regardless of you doing it or not. And what it is projecting is also just completely spontaneous. It's not something you can do anything about. There's not a negative thing, and I'll explain why. But first, we must cover this. We must understand this. And we must see this in experience. You could even see it right now in your experience that you're maybe having all these sorts of thoughts, judging maybe what I'm saying. Maybe some memories of previous experiences are coming up, and like something wants to resist the teaching, or something's thinking about tomorrow already or later. So notice the spontaneous and random nature of the thoughts that are arising here and now. So now you start coming across this teaching, which is telling you to take the attention away from thoughts. And with the little thoughts, right? Let's just say the thought about dinner later. It's not really meaning much to you. You know for a fact you're eating dinner later, and you know you can get whatever you want to eat because you're an adult. So it's not of much interest to you. It's not, really intriguing your interest. There's not enough to lose there, and there's not enough to gain there. So that thought arises, and you're like, okay, I'm practicing this teaching. Sunny said this, and no, this is what I'm learning, and I'm able to easily disengage from that thought. But now a thought comes up about your relationship, or your job, or your goal. And this thought, there's way more interest with, because there's a lot more to personally gain, and there's a lot more personally at stake that you may lose. So this thought is a lot more intriguing, a lot more interesting. There's greater pull towards it, right? It's that desire or the fear, the two opposite energies, which are really one, that are keeping you, that sort of pull you into that. And this thought, because there's greater interest, that is what you feel as like, okay, this is more important than the thought about dinner later. But ultimately, it is still just a interpretation or a projection, a judgment, imagination. So one you're able to disengage from right away because there's not that much interest, not that much desire or fear connected to it. But one, there's great pull. And so now you're like learning, okay, I must sort of let this go, right? Like I must sort of take my attention away from even this. But something's resisting that. Something's like, no, but I need to think this so that I could do this and achieve this. Or that I could do this and save myself from this failure or this loss. See that all your thoughts are basically for this purpose only, to gain something or to prevent some sort of loss. To chase pleasure, to avoid pain. All your interpretations, judgments, labels, projections, all of them, they are happening, and they're constantly, sourcing energy from you so that you may do these two things: chase pleasure, avoid pain. So something's already resisting, because something for so long has relied and believed in this thoughts, this thought flow, getting you what you want, or saving you from what you don't want. Moment of acknowledgement. See this. and see clearly that your thoughts are really about this, that that's really what they're doing. So you know something doesn't want to let go of this thought, something doesn't want to take the attention away. And another thought arises that says, is it safe to let go of this thought, you know? Isn't this thought more important than the other one? I want you to recognize, and I'm also speaking directly to Jacqueline because she's the one who asked this question. See in your own experience that this is also a thought that randomly arose without your choosing. It claimed your beingness, like I am the one thinking this and choosing this thought over the other. So don't only disengage from this thought, actually disengage from all of them. Disengage from even, or maybe the disengage word is not even the right one, because it automatically makes you feel like you're getting rid of something. I'm not telling you to get rid of something. I'm not trying to tell you to, take thoughts and throw them away because, we're trying to run away from them. But actually just observe this, recognize this. Recognize yourself as the knowing of them, the presence that is aware of this thought about dinner later, which you're able to sort of just, let go, you don't care. But then this thought that arises that sort of claims importance about your goals or your relationship or whatever. And then this other thought that also says, can this thought be let go of? Is it safe? I want you to see all of them. See how they're just arising one after the other in endless succession with no real correlation. Sometimes they're so sporadic and so random, so completely different. There's no actual chain. Sometimes they're very, very related, but ultimately they're all sporadic, just happening. And so it's not even about completely disengaging and trying to run away from them, but actually recognizing this, becoming aware of this mental tendency. The other thought arising that, oh, if I stop thinking this, is it safe? Am I going to be okay? Am I still going to achieve this? Am I still going to be able to avoid this? See all, your role in this is just as the observer of this mental train just going. You see, the moment this thought arises, that's oh, is it safe? You believe that's my voice. You believe that that's me choosing if I want to go forward with this. But actually, you're just the seeing. You're just sort of seeing and knowing even this thought to arise. Don't take ownership. Don't identify. Just see and let be. If you can't let it go, just let it be. Just acknowledge. And recognize its randomness. Recognize its spontaneous nature. What do I mean by that? The fact that it arose automatically without you having anything to do with it. You didn't choose, oh, at 7:21 p.m. today, I'm having this thought, and I'm purposely choosing this thought. And let's just say right now you're oh, well, Sunny, you know what? It's about to be 7:22. And at 7:22, I'm going to purposely think this thought. Notice that even you saying this right now and thinking this right now and planning to think this at 7:22 p.m. and whatever thought is that you're going to choose, that itself is arising in the seeing. Right now you could be oh, I'm purposely choosing to think of dinner later. See the natural, even this feeling of I chose this, but it's what you could have chosen a million things. What chose that particular one thing out of the infinity of things? Did you control that? So no need to complicate things. All I'm trying to convey is the automatic and spontaneous nature of what happens. Your role in this is as the observing of what is occurring, of what is arising and subsiding in consciousness, in you. The more you start to take this witness role, the more you will start to see this more clearly. And the less you will need to rely on thinking, because it's still just playing pretend anyway, in order to get things done. This sort of as this is seen clearly, more and more clearly, you'll also sort of, this idea, this concept of getting things done and achieving things will also just be seen for the play that it is. The play is going on as it is. The movement, again, as I said, it's spontaneous. It's happening. But the more you rest as the witness of what happens, the more you will be at peace. See this for yourself clearly. The more you take on ownership of what occurs, of what happens, of what arises, the more you take this sense of responsibility for the unfoldment, the sense of doership, of choice, the more you will be in restlessness. That is you quite literally taking shape as your desires and fears and sort of playing them out. So the witness attitude frees you. Taking ownership sort of makes you involved, right? That's the difference between involvement versus detachment, observation. Your other question about this was, is it safe? Right? What also seeks security? Is it not just this idea that you have of yourself, this personal self, this body and this bundle of thoughts that we call the story, that seeks to have this and seeks to avoid this? Right? Who is the safety for? Who is it unsafe for? Thanks for watching this video. Just 2 things before you go. If you want to learn how to implement the teaching that we cover on this channel in a step-by-step format and really develop your understanding of it in a faster way, make sure to watch my free 1-hour class that I'm offering right now. And second, if you want to work with me personally to help you dissolve mind identification and return to peace through self-inquiry, check out my program down below. It's called the Higher Consciousness Shift. Enrollments are now open, so just check out the details and book your free call, and we'll see if it's right for you. That's all I have for you today. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.